הסתכל בשלושה דברים, ואין אתה בא לדין לבתי עבירה. The Mishnah teaches us there's 3 meditations that a person should have, 3 ways of thinking that a person should think. One is, like you're saying, לאן אתה הולך? Where are we going from here? Very important to think. But also, where am I coming from? Is it the same place? Are we going to where we came from? Okay, so we'll start with a little story, a little mashal. There's once upon a time a kingdom. This kingdom had a king. But it wasn't a regular kingdom like, they have a king and the son of the king becomes, the prince becomes. It wasn't like that. This country had a very weird and interesting way of electing a king. Every 3 years, they would replace the king. And how would they replace him? They would go around, the ministers would take a wagon and go around the country to some countryside, find a poor man that has nothing. They would open a big table, put up a big feast, bring out meat and wine, and they would start eating and drinking. They would get him totally drunk. Then they put him in the wagon, they take him to the palace, and when he wakes up in the morning in the royal bed, they tell him, "You're the king. You're the king." And he thinks to himself, wow, what was yesterday? Till now. So he thinks it must have been a dream. I'm the king. So he enjoys the life of a king. Day by day, this is great, being a king. Till now, what was I? Where was I? I don't even know. And a day goes by and a week goes by, and life is great. Life of a king is just fantastic. A year or 2. 3 years later, there's a big feast, and they call the king, and they get the king really drunk, and they put him in the wagon, and they put him back at the exact same stone that they picked him up, and they go to pick a new king. This is how this country works. Every 3 years, instead of politics, no elections, that's right. This is how it goes. When the guy wakes up, drunk on a rock, naked, but think, wait, I was a king. No, I'm really poor. That was a dream. So, okay. One day, this is going on, and one of these guys, the king is elected, and he wakes up in the morning in the royal palace, in the bed, and everyone says, "Oh, good morning, your royalty, your majesty." He says, I'm not a king. Yesterday, I knew where I was. 2 days ago, I had a life. This is weird. I'm not believing this. I'm accepting. Okay, he's living, and life is fantastic. He is the king. Everyone's coming to him. He's signing. He's talking. He's doing. But he refuses to believe this. He says, "I know who I am. I remember who I was. This can't be. Something here doesn't make sense. How did I get here?" So he singles out from his men one guy, and he takes him into a private room, and he says, "Listen, if you don't tell me the truth, I'm killing you. Because I know I'm not the king. I know this. That's your choice." So the guy says, "Okay, this is how it is. I'm going to reveal the secret to you, but this is how it is in our kingdom. You were picked up on the rock. You were really drunk. You didn't remember this. And in 2 years, that's what's going to happen. In 2 years, they're going to get you drunk again, and you're going to pick another king." So this guy's like, whoa, shocked. But he starts living his life differently. He's no longer investing right now and here because he knows this is quicksand. He starts sending slaves and money and buildings and animals and food, all kinds of stuff that he needs to this kingdom, to this faraway land. And he tells them, "You're building a palace, you're building the whole economy, sending everything." He's the king, he has everything now. He's sending and sending and sending. And he tells them, "You guys build these palaces and these neighborhoods, build exactly as I'm instructing you. And in 2 years, you're going to meet me, I'm your king. Where will you meet me?" Puts for them a little map, and he crosses that little rock. He sees it's going to be a rock. You're going to see me sleeping there naked and drunk. Put me in the wagon, take me to the palace, and put my crown on. I'm the king. In a funny way, that's us. You just wake up one day and you're the king. Then you realize that people are coming and going here. It's a train station. Where are we going? Where are people going? Where are they coming from? And then another question you have is, who am I then? What am I? Great day to have a lot of deep questions, right? One of the sayings that we said a lot this week, and it's very important, it's actually not from a Jewish source. I don't know the source of it, but it's not Jewish. It says, we are not physical beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience. Got that? We are spiritual beings experiencing physicality. We're right now experiencing this dimension of physicality. We're here for a purpose. Clearly the purpose is not here. We're here. The place to do the purpose is here. The only place that a person could go through a transformation and a becoming is while they're in a physical experience, while they're in a body, while they have an identity, while they have the illusion of themselves. Only then they have free will. Only then they could ignore God or listen to God. Well, that's when they have that's life. So this physical experience is time-bound. We're all here for a very short time. And obviously, we will have meaningful lives. But 120 years go by that fast. That fast. The Gemara says, it says in the Pasuk, Yamenu ketzel over. Our days are like a passing shadow. The Midrash says, what kind of shadow? Maybe a shadow of a building. You have 12 hours from sunrise to sunset. No. Maybe the shadow of a tree. The Midrash says it's like the shadow of the wings of a bee. That her wings have no shadow. That's how fast it is. That's how fast life goes. But this life is very precious. It's the only time that our neshama, that our soul, has free will. That means that whatever essentially we are, our essence, if you could imagine what you are, not your body, right now our identity is our body. But we know we're not, but that's our identity. So the neshama is chelek Eloha mima'al mamash. One of the ways to look at the neshama, it's like the daughter of the king, like the bat melech, like the princess. What a beautiful relationship between a princess and a king, a father and a daughter. Beautiful relationship. But that relationship of father and daughter, as beautiful as it is, could never grow. There's no children born from this relationship. There's no continuation to such a relationship. This relationship is called, it's not by choice. You never chose this relationship. It's essence. Husband and wife, totally different. You grew up here, she grew up there. You choose each other. You love each other. You become one. This is infinite. This gives birth. This type of relationship is a relationship that's infinite. Our essence, we can't remember this right this second because our identity right now is a physical. We're overpowered by the experience that we're in right now. But our neshama, before it comes into the world, is like the daughter of the king. After it comes into this world and experiences separation from the king, and we have our own body and our own identity and our own name and our own choice, then when you choose the relationship with your king, you come back like a husband and wife. It's a relationship that's chosen. This is a relationship that you made. It's not just a given relationship that this is how it is. So the journey of the soul going from wherever it was, even though it's infinite, the level of involvement with godliness was stagnant. It was particular. It couldn't grow more than that. Only after the journey of the soul to this dimension, which is very, very, very far, in order for the soul to come into this physical body, it travels so much. It's shrunk and shrunk and shrunk. You can't imagine how many times. To fit godliness into this body. Why? So from this place, I can have an identity now. I could do whatever I want. And from whatever I want, I'm choosing to develop and encourage my relationship with my Creator. This is the experience of life, of being here. This is called down in the physical. Therefore, our starting point, a person is born not godly, very receiving, very selfish, babies. We know that every Jew has two neshamot. The first neshama is the neshama, the basic soul. That's like we call it the animal soul. That's the basic, vital, essential soul that you are. And that soul has anger, that soul has ego, that soul has depression, that soul has laziness. It's an animal soul, it's a spirit. It's our basic animal spirit. Besides for the basic animal spirit that we have, that's like our starting point, we're also given access to a godly spirit. That means that I'm able to study and get to know godliness. And then I could choose, I could transform and become and choose godliness during this lifetime. So that's the source of the constant struggle that exists in the life of a Jew, in the inner world of a Jew. That constant guilt or that pull. On the one hand, he's pulled here low, but on the other hand, he's pulled high. There's two souls wrestling inside of us. One is our basic, this is how we were born. And one is we're here to be upgraded, to become like God, to study godliness. When we study Torah, we're not just studying rules. You're studying godliness. You're in a relationship with godliness, and then you're able to raise your soul from the basic animal soul that you have and become godly, become refined. Let's say if my basic nature is that if you get me angry, I yell at you. That's my basic nature. Or if I see that, I get jealous at that. Or when this happens, I get very lazy. That's my basic. But when I study godliness and I want to upgrade myself, I realize, okay, I'm going to, in an argument with you, or in a conversation with you, I'll control my anger. Even though my natural is to come and unleash, I'll relax. That means that I'm becoming godly. I don't want to stay natural the way I am. I don't want to just stay physical. I'm choosing that I want to become like God. I want to change my ways to become like Him. I want to think like Him. I want to be kind like Him. The Torah shows us that He's kind, that He's good, that He's forgiving. I want to be forgiving like Him. I want to be pure like Him. So this opportunity I can only get while I'm in this life with the animal soul. This is the only time that I could choose I want in with godliness. I want to become one with godliness. And then when a person leaves this stage and goes on in the next stage, he's not the same as he came. He came into the world as an animal, but he chose to refine himself. He chose to elevate himself. He chose to be close to the Creator. So he goes back, in a certain sense, to the spiritual worlds, way higher, way different than he came before. He comes back as a partner, as involved, as a person that chose life. Every person has unique gifts that the Creator gives them. Very unique talents and unique outlook and unique. And when a person leaves the world, they go up, but their talent and their gifts and their vision stay in the world. And the kids, the family that are connected, that want to continue the connection, the real way to do it is to focus on seeing the most important and good qualities that this person had, and to now adopt these qualities, and these qualities now live through us. That means that if normally I wouldn't behave in a certain way, but from the memory of someone that passed away that was so great, that I'm inspired by their greatness now is living inside of you. That's what the Gemara says, Yaakov Avinu lo met. Jacob, the founder of our nation, never died. Even though the Torah brings the story of his death. He died and he was buried and all that. What does it mean he didn't die? It means that since his mission, since his essence, his kids are alive and they're carrying his mission, that he's alive. So one of the most important things that we could do to bring we talk about Leilui Neshama. We want to do Leilui Neshama, so we do mitzvot, Leilui Neshama. But what does it mean? That means that his godliness is inspiring the live. So he's alive in the live. When the live hold him, not just I'm remembering him and I'm putting his picture. I'm remembering what was so special about him, what was so unique about him, what was so deep about him. How was he amazing? And I'm gonna now realize, wow, that quality now he left. That quality now is gonna live inside of you. That quality, then it's called lomet. And then that means that the soul, even after it leaves the world, if the kids are continuing the light of the soul keeps on inspiring. The soul, even though the person passed away, but his soul, his essence is keeping on inspiring the world through his children. What was his most special quality?
So many. But he was always so... He called me every day to know how my kids were. Every single day. He had to know that my kids were fine. He lived in Cancun. He didn't live in Mexico. And even though he was there, he was still here. You know, he was worried about my brothers. He worried. He worried, but on the he was very strong. Very strong.
Very involved.
Very involved. Intelligent. I haven't met no one as intelligent as he was. And he liked to smile. He always said that we had to enjoy life.
True. Smiling is a fantastic.
He always made me feel like I had someone watching my back. Always. And sometimes I used to I got nervous. Like, he called me so many times. I said, okay, I'll call you back. And now I need that contention, you know? I never thought I was going to miss that intensity, and now I miss it so much.
It's unbelievable. You'll see that when you remember his qualities and allow his qualities to live in you, you're going to feel him in you. It's an experience of becoming one. It's closer than him calling you. Because when you really adopt their work, their Avodat Hashem, then that part is alive in you. That's why Shlomo HaMelech teaches us that Tov lechet el bet ha'avel lechet el bet ha'mishteh. A person could enjoy weddings and parties, or a person could go to the house of Shiva. So you think like, wow, a wedding and a party is fun. But a Shiva could be maybe depressing, maybe this. The truth is it's the opposite. It's the opposite. In these rooms, people think of life. In the party, in the wedding, people forget about life. So, right, it's the time that we think about life more seriously and more mature and more...
Why does the Torah say that it's the day that we die is better than the day that we are born?
It's a fantastic question. There's a story about this. That if you go to the port, right, you go to the port and you see a bunch of ships. The ships arriving and the ships leaving. And you see a lot of groups of people. Some of them are standing with signs, welcome home, with balloons. Some of them are crying. Who's crying? The ones that are saying goodbye to their loved ones. The father's going away to a journey now for 6 months on business. Who knows? The storms, the ocean, the pirates. Very scary. Going into the ocean, who knows? If you come back from the journey, amazing, you made it. Baruch haba. This world that we're in, it's called Olam HaSheker. It's an upside down world. The real reality is that when a baby's born to this world, we should start crying. Like, why? Do you know where you just arrived, my friend? Why? This world is very dangerous. Not everyone makes it here. There's pirates, there's storms. No pashut, Olam HaSheker. To navigate through this world, why? Good luck, my friend. But if a guy passes away, whoa, you made it, Baruch haba, you made it. You went through life. You did good things, you remembered yourself. Whatever you did good, Baruch haba. That's the right attitude. That's why a death is called a hilula, a wedding. Because this world is Olam HaSheker. It's the world of lie. So everything is reversed there. But when they come back to Olam HaEmet, if a person went through this world, when a person had the opportunity to live in a physical body, if a person had the opportunity to remember his Creator, To remember that we are creation. A person has this opportunity, and then when they go back on a different level.
So right now he's...
I don't know where he is. I know he's in the hands of his Father that loves him. But I don't have to know where he is. Al chayenu amesurim beyadecha. My life is in your hands. We don't always feel it during our life, but that's how it is. We're babies. We're just babies. But the relationship between a father and a kid is very, very strong. That's why the kids say Kaddish. Kaddish is a very interesting phenomenon. Who says Kaddish? You guys are saying Kaddish? You know?
Yeah, the brothers.
Yeah, I know. So I just remember. You know what it means? You know the words?
Yeah.
Right? Does it have anything to do with passing away? Anything to do with mourning? So, what is Kaddish? If you had to describe it right now, like, describe this standalone prayer. What are you requesting? It's a prayer that we're standing. It's Itgadal v'Itkadash Shemei Rabbah. It means we're telling the Creator of the world, your name should be known in this world. It's a prayer that us as a nation is standing in front of the Creator and saying, please, Creator of the world, make your name and your essence and your revelation known in the world. Don't hide anymore. Make your name known. Why do we do this? Why do we say this prayer when someone passes away? Like, why is it you guys for a year now saying this prayer? Why? What does that do? Am Yisrael, we're an army of light. We're a nation of light. From Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu is the light of the world. It says in the Zohar, Vayomer Elohim Yehi Or, Ze Avraham Avinu. That was Avraham. He was the light of the world. Yitzchak, Yaakov, his kids, we are all a nation of light. We're all carrying the torch to bring values, to bring godliness, to bring morality, to bring godliness into this physical world. Every one of us is a soldier in the army of light. Everyone. When one of the soldiers goes, when one of the soldiers is out, the rest of the team puts in an extra effort to fill in the light that he was filling. Because everyone has a particular light that they shine, a particular way of revealing godliness in the world. And now that this person is not here, so that means that who's revealing his light? And that's why the kids say, we're taking upon extra light. We're going to take this prayer of light. We're going to assume this position now and say, Creator of the world, for the next of the year, we're going to do more prayers than everyone. Besides for everything, we're going to stand in front of you and say, we're asking you to please light up the world. Because before that, there was more soldiers. Now we have to do extra work for the rest of the soldiers that are not here. But all Kaddish is just you're asking the Creator to reveal Himself in the world.
And to get the soul higher of the person that's not here.
That's upon the kids. The kids lift up the parents. And your decision to live a more meaningful and more honest and more real life to yourself and to take life more real because of your father, that's mamash your father living inside of you. It means that you're driven, not just theoretically, you're mamash driven by your father. And that his spirit is really driving you and acting inside of you, and that means that he's alive inside of you. That means that in essence, his essence has not died because he's continuing to shine, to inspire the world and to make the world grow, even though he's not here. The kids have the power to draw down the light of the Father, even though the Father's not here, or any family member. So by you living a more meaningful life, a more deep life, a more holy life, whatever, in your standards, like you're thinking, like, live like your Father's looking at you. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is. Now it's like, so that, and then he's really living inside of you. You're living higher. You're not going to make decisions like you did today. You're going to choose wiser. You're going to choose more because your Father's looking at you. So that means that you're allowing him to be alive through you. So all the mitzvot that you do, all the good that you're doing, that you would do more than normally you wouldn't do it. But now that you're awakened more and you understand life more, and you.
Do you think he actually sees everything?
it's a big discussion. The Gemara in Barachot, the Gemara discusses what do the dead know. There's a lot of mystery about it. What do they know? Everything that you say, let's say, the spirit doesn't leave right away. The spirit comes into the world and it goes into a body. It doesn't happen in one day. It's 9 months pregnancy, and then till the spirit and the body become one. It's like mixing flour and water. You see it just dough afterwards. You don't know what's the flour, what's the water. When a person leaves this world, it takes them. It's a shock. It depends how connected they were to their body. Not everyone dies the same. There's 903 ways to die. The Gemara says. Lamavet Tatzot. There's 903 ways to die. The nicest way to die is a kiss. Mitat neshika. The most painful way to die is a certain disease that the breathing keeps on closing and closing very, 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 very slow. It's like a very slow inner strangulation. Very, very hard way to die. And the Gemara describes that as pulling out like a big bush that got stuck in cotton. If you pull it out, it's like very stuck. If you pull it out, it tears it apart. It's a mess. So that means, how does a person die? It means you came into the world, you became part of the physical experience, and you're here. And then this is only temporary. We're only experiencing physicality. We're going through the body. It's not who we are. So if a person in their life lives a life of a kiss, it means, what does it mean to be kissed? That means that you're living a life of spirit. You're not involved here, physical. You're not, it's your attention, you're not grabbing onto anything you could in this world. So when it's time to leave the world, it's okay. But if a person in this world is like, wow, every pleasure they need, every this they need, they want the world so bad, they're very connected to the world. So when it's time for them to leave the world, it's very painful. They're kicking, they're screaming, it's very painful. Even death which must be painful, because death is the pain of the basic soul leaving the four elements. Even that doesn't have to be painful. A person that understands, that accepts this process as a necessary process, could die without any pain. Pain is all in the imagination. It's all in your dot. How painful is it to walk in one place for an hour and get nowhere? Be horrible punishment, right? Imagine to walk in one place for 1 hour. But if you're in the gym on a treadmill, you'll pay for it. Why? Because you see the gain in it. You're sweating, it's hurting, but you're loving it. You're counting calories, you're loving it.
But it's quite difficult because since we're living in this physical world, sometimes it's really hard. It happens to me. Sometimes I don't see the spirituality and stuff. And I watch what I gain for myself many times. Many times I'm selfish. Many times I'm looking for the pleasure on the moment. So that hurts. If I'm very attached to this physical.
If I pulled you out of everything you have now, would you be happy? Or would you be, no, I want this, give me. You have possessions, right? You have possessions. You like everything you have very much. And that's okay. It's okay. It's okay to be in that experience. It's okay. We're in this world. Just what's happening to you now is something very maturing and very real. You're seeing life now through a more real view. Through the passing of your father, you're appreciating life in a more real way, and you're learning to look at life in a more honest perspective. Because no one's here to stay. And there's nothing wrong about that. If you're living prepared for it, then it's okay. Enjoy here and enjoy going there, because you're here and you're going there also. Just be prepared for it. We're all going there. Who do you think your father went back to? His family. You know what family is waiting for him there? That's why Shlomo Melech is telling you it's so precious to go to Bet Evel. Why go to a shiva? Because if you're sitting in the shiva, you may think and realize, wait, am I feasting on life a little too much? Am I taking this experience a little too much? Like, I'm passing through. We're just passing through. There's a very famous story with the Chafetz Chaim. Chafetz Chaim, one of the greatest sages, was traveling through Europe, and in his journeys, he was in some place for Shabbat, and some very wealthy man said, "Oh wow, the Rav, please come to my house, please, 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 to come to the house." And wait 1 second, I just have to remember the way the story is. And the rich man and the Chafetz Chaim are talking, and the rich man tells the Chafetz Chaim, like, maybe we went to visit his house, something or some detail in the story I'm not remembering. But the Chafetz Chaim, he asked him, "Where's all your possessions? Where's everything you have?" And he said, "What do you mean? I'm just traveling. I'm passing through here, so I'm not going to travel with everything. I'm just passing through." So, traveling and passing through life, meaning, is life the station? Like, is this home? Or is this a journey? So, maybe most people look at it like, this is home. I'm here, I'm the king, I'm just going to have fun. I'm just going to appreciate the moment, and I'm not asking where I'm going and what's tomorrow. And I'm just, in that sense, it's called being immature. That's an immature life. It's a very childish way of looking at the world. Let me have fun right now. We'll see what happens later. I don't know. Who thinks about the later? A kid doesn't think about the later. An adult thinks about the later. So when you look at life as we're passing through, so you're looking at it different. You look at it different. The kiss of death is very interesting. Mitat neshika. It even looks like a kiss. There's tzaddikim that pass away, they just lie and they open their mouth. And that means that if a person wants to, this experience, a person dies the way they live. If your life was very, very involved here, then leaving here is just a mess. It's a mess. It's a mess for you, for everyone. And it takes a long time for a person to realize, like, wow, I thought I was a body. It takes a long time to realize it. But if a person tries during their life to live a life, being closer to the Creator, having a relationship with Him, not ignoring Him, saying, Creator of the world, I realize that you're my Creator and I'm your creation. I want to have a relationship with you. It's not about mitzvot, religion, Judaism. I'm creation. Let's go basic. I'm your creation, and I don't want to forget you. One day we're going to meet each other. What am I going to tell you then? Why wait till then? Be proactive. Come to your Creator and say, Creator of the world, you are creating me. I feel that I'm breathing. I go to the bathroom. We're creation. I don't want to ignore you anymore.
So it's not when the moment we die and the cause of death, it's not like already planned by God since we're born.
When a person dies?
Yes.
No, this is a general thing. We're not going to get into God's knowledge and our free will is a general different topic. God knowing something and you having free will is not a contradiction. Because God doesn't know something the way humans know something. God knows, it's not a way that we could understand past, present, future the same. I could only tell you that I know what happened in the past. I can't tell you I know what's going to be in the future.
No, but they told me that when a person is born, since the person is born, it's already predestined at what age he's going to die and the cause of death.
No, what we don't. A person throughout his life could change. You're a dynamic. You're changing all the time. Let's say I give you an example. There's a mitzvah tzedakah. Tzedakah tatzil mimavet. The Gemara says a story. Rabbi Akiva, one of the greatest sages, had a daughter. And when his daughter was born, one of his friends was a great astrologer. He had a whole bunch of friends, astrologers, very smart. And they told him, Rabbi Akiva, very nice. Oh, Chabak, congratulations, you had a daughter. But we see in astrology that the day of her wedding, she's going to die. Look, the stars, look. You see it. You can't fake this stuff. Okay. Then, the girl grows up, and it's the day of her wedding. And she's the kala, wedding. Imagine during the wedding, suddenly she sees a poor man wander into the hall, wasn't invited, not just a stranger. The Kala, goes to him. She goes to him. She comes up, please come sit down. She gives him food. She takes care of him, and she goes back to her friends to dance again. Then they go home, the couple, and she had in her hair some kind of big pin or something. She takes out the pin and she sticks it in the wall, and she goes to sleep. In the morning, she wakes up and she pulls out the pin from the wall, and out with the pin comes out a poisonous snake that was killed. She killed the snake when she didn't realize. When she put that thing into the wall, she killed that snake that was going to kill her. Darash Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva came to the Bet Knesset that day. He said, my friends, Utzedakah tatzil mimavet. Tzedakah saves from mita mamash. Here's my daughter. She was supposed to die. And what saved her? Tzedakah. So there's no way a person could make choices in his life that will change everything about him. No one knows anything. Your future is in your hands, is in your free will. That's the beauty of what Hashem gave you.
So when people die young, why?
Why? I'll tell you one of my favorite stories about why. There was a guy, he was 100 years old. On Mazal Tov, on his birthday, 100 years. Everyone, the kids, the grandkids, what a big party. One of the grandkids gets up to speak and he says, I want to ask my grandfather. He says, grandfather, what's the secret of your long life? So the grandfather says, I never ask why. So he says, what do you mean? He says, listen, I have a lot of friends. They said, God, why this? God, why that? God said, come, I'll show you. I'll show you exactly why. He says, me, I don't ask why. Because I don't have to ask why. If my relationship with the Creator is, I know that He's the most intelligent, the most love, the most good, the most everything, then what's my why? Everything He does is good. It's not faith that I have. It's faith that a person has through Torah, through knowledge. We don't say God is good. I know that God is good. So even though the things that I don't know why they're good, I could believe that those things, I have trust in Him, that those things are also okay. That means that trust in a relationship is not blind. You're not going to trust me the second you meet me. But if we become friends after a day, after a week, after a month, we'll have a level of friendship. I can say, listen, I need you to trust me and do something more than our friendship. But then you could do it because we have a level of friendship. Same thing with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. When a person learns Torah, the Torah gets you to know Hashem. You get to know who's the Creator. He wants to be known. And when you get to know Him, you know Him. You don't believe in Him, you know Him. And when you know Him, then He says, now believe in me and do this, and now believe in me and do this, and now believe in me and do this. Reincarnation is real, very real. Souls go in and out of the world all the time. All the time. There's actually two categories for the souls coming into the world. One is called reincarnation, Gilgul. That means that's when a person was sent to this world to do a specific mission, and they went back and they didn't complete it. So just if you had to do a mission in this physical dimension, you were sent into a body, but sometimes in this body you forgot that you had a mission. You just got caught up. You were just partying in life. You forgot that you had a mission. So then when you go back, they say, "Hey, did you do what you got to do?" You say, "No." So, okay, go back. It's not fun. Not fun.
Okay.
Not fun. That's one. I'm sorry, very, very general. But that means a soul that didn't complete its tikkun and has to come back into a whole new pregnancy and a whole new birth. And then then that soul is in that body till that body is done. Like it has to be in that body the whole life. It could also benefit from that body. It could also lose from that body. That body does. A soul could come into the world to gain, but it could lose. Because while this body, they could again forget about the Creator and again lose. So that's one way. There's another connection with the soul that's called ibur. It's pregnancy. That means that the same way when a woman is pregnant, so she doesn't have just only her soul inside of her. There's also the soul of the baby. So you can see a person walking around with a couple of souls. Same way, a neshama could join your soul while you're alive and help you and be with you. And which I guess, to keep it simple, reincarnation is very real. Souls are coming back into the world. And the most simple way to understand it is that your soul is sent into the body, into the physical dimension, to exist in the physical dimension and to be elevated from that place. And failure to do that, to whatever level, you have to, that's the only way you can get elevated is in the physical dimension. The only place where there's no revelation of God is when you're in the physical. And only then you could choose or not choose. So you have to be in that dimension. So if you go to that dimension and you forgot about it, then you'll have to revisit and go back there again. But it's very, very painful for a soul to come into the world. Extremely, extremely painful. The soul does not want to come back here no matter what. And it's worth it for a person while they're alive to do everything they can to finish their tikkun during this life.
This is obviously more like a lesson that you learn on the way in this world, that you didn't understand that lesson, you come back.
It's not about lessons, it's about becoming. This world is about becoming God. We're here to become infinite. That means that the personality that you're given, the basic personality that you're given, you're meant to drop. And you're meant to evolve all that into a godly personality. Your anger is supposed to turn into compassion. Your jealousy is supposed to turn into generosity. Literally, to reverse all these animalistic traits inside of you and become godly. And then when you go back, you're not the same spirit that left. As when you left, you were a selfish baby spirit. You were put into a world where you had a choice to either hold on to that selfish baby spirit, or you could say, no, wait, I'm going to learn about a creator, about a higher way of being, and I'm going to adopt and evolve into higher ways. And you change. So then when you leave the physical, you're not the same spirit that you were. You're a spirit of generosity, you're a spirit of kindness. You're a different spirit. So then you become, that means you become similar to God. You become one with God. The choice is only while...
You're giving the choice.
Exactly. Exactly. The only way to choose is here. That's why this...
When you die, it's not necessarily that you already achieved your mission in life.
No. Of course not. That's why it's very important to bury a person right away. Because a person's soul can't come back reincarnated until their first body is buried. The Zohar says it's like, imagine a person, chas v'shalom, that loses his wife and he wants to get married. You say, first bury your first wife. You know, you can't, it doesn't work this way. So the neshama is in the, yeah. But practically, I would say because we're talking very high and like souls and all this, like, okay, bring it home a little bit. So you would turn to him and say, Creator of the world, I was woken up by death to realize that life is serious. I'm confused, I'm lost. Help me live a meaningful life. I don't want to live a life of just physical and material, and then stay animal. And I know inside it's not right. I know that life is so much more. So this turn to the Creator, to this investment, the relationship with Him is very, very strong. It could be a whole turning point of your entire life into life of meaning.
It's important, I think, to know, like, it's not just we go through the world in order to get to some place, but really the vision of God is that He wants to be here in the physical world. That's the mission, right? Like, and when you're in touch with the mission, and you're connected to the mission, and you're connected to God through this world of Sheker becomes an awesome experience. Like, it can become like a very rich world, a very immense world.
100%. 100%. What Moy is saying is very, very true to remember this. That when a person remembers the Creator and lives a life of meaning, this opportunity of life is the most spiritual thing and the most high thing. This physical experience is the highest that can be. Because that's what the Baal HaTanya teaches us. תכלית בריאת האדם, בריאת כל העולמות, עליונים ותחתונים, להיות לא יתברך, דירה זו בתחתונים. That the Creator creates all the dimensions, the higher dimensions and the lower dimensions, all the worlds, in order for the creation to bring him into the lowest place, into this world. And we're meant to reveal the Creator in the physical world, to reveal him here. When a person lives that life, then they live a very happy, fun life, a life of a lot of meaning. It's interesting. By the Ashkenazim, we name after the people that pass away. By the Sephardi Keilot, we name after your father, right? Alive. And that's also a very interesting way of seeing the souls like revisit the world. You have a kid, and you name him after his grandfather, the same name, and you're giving that soul like another. So if a soul didn't, not every soul does everything they could during their life.
It could be a reincarnation
Of course.
grandfather.
So they always come back in the family. Always come back in the family. But the main thing is that the main Ilui Neshama, the real, if you want to know the real thing, is that when the memory of your father, it causes you to live a meaningful life, that's the biggest Ilui Neshama. All the decisions that you're going to make now that are more elevated and more mature because of this is due to him, credit to him, and that's him living through you, and that's elevating the soul. So from now on, everything you're doing is going to elevate the soul.
So maybe if I have a third child and I name him after him, it may be him. There's a chance.
You can tell me the chances.
No, porque viene en familia.
Yeah.
Si viene en familia.
Yeah, that's how it is. I'll tell you, I have 6 kids, Brianna. My 4th son, Dovi. You know Dovi? Everyone knows Dovi? You guys come to Tzfat, everyone's invited to get to know Dovi. His full name is Yeshaya Isaschar Dov. 3 names. That was my grandfather, Alav Shalom. My grandfather passed away, but none of my brothers and sisters would give the full name because it's like 3 names. So, and my wife also was like, we don't have to give that name. But he was born 25 years on the Yortzeit, on the Ptirat, Chavzayin Adar. My grandfather passed away Chavzayin Adar, and my son was born on his Yortzeit. And in the delivery room, my wife looked at me. She's like, "I know." It wasn't even a question. Like, that's his name, and he looks exactly like him.
Wow.
Exactly like him. Blue eyes. He has the same thing in the chin. I look at the pictures. The same thing. Essentially, my chavruta, I have a chavruta inside, a very special man. So he told me that he's a bechol. He's the firstborn. He's from a very Moroccan family. He's the firstborn. So he has the name of his grandfather. And he told me that his father tells him, "I know that you're my father." His father tells the son, "I always knew that you're my father." Like, he's like, the things my father would tell me, you tell me. But when you feel that way, it feels like the distance between this world and the next world is not so far. You know what I'm saying? There's traffic. The souls are coming, there's going, there's motion.
You do, people's souls reunite.
Of course. The souls are one, they don't reunite. Our souls are all one. Part of the pain of being in this world is that we're all experiencing ourselves as a separate. The illusion of separateness that we're feeling now is a fantasy. It's an experience. It's in your imagination. But we are one. That's the truth.
Also the animal soul?
No. The animal soul is originated from 4. It's from 4 elements. And that's why the body returns to the 4 elements. The body has to return to the 4 elements, and then the soul returns to the original, to the Elohim, the godly element, I guess.
I miss his questions.
So it's a fact that when someone dies, you will see them again. sooner or later you will
Yes,
see them again.
of course. Your souls are connected before you come to the world. There's so much that goes on in the souls. You know that a husband and wife, before they're born, in order for them to have kids in the world, have to mate in heaven. Before they're born. There's so much that goes on in the world. There's so much that goes on in the worlds. Souls come, they go.
Mashiach means that the plug or the curtain between both worlds disappears. Just gets pure and everything is connected. You can see through.
It's one of the effects when the worlds are purified. Right now, the reason that we don't see the dead, the Gemara says that Rabbeinu HaKadosh, Rabbi Anasi, after he passed away, used to come back every Friday night and do kiddush for his wife. After he passed away, would come every Friday night, the Gemara says, do kiddush for his wife. Until one time the neighbor saw and then he stopped coming. But the ability of the souls to go in and out of the world is only because the worlds are not pure, so the souls can't come in and out of the world. But once the worlds are purified, then the Ramak writes that there's going to be this relationship. Even that souls that passed away will be able to visit, and like the paths for the world will be open, so the souls could travel openly.
What can people do? What can we do to make this transition for him not painful?
So, even the pain that the souls feel when they go to Gehenom, when they go to the field of purification of Gehenom, it's very handleable. They handle it. They understand it.
But the Gehenom is not exactly hell. It's just a process to get purified, right?
It's a purifying. It's a process of purifying, and that even though it's painful, but because it's a purifying process, the person appreciates it. The person understands that this pain has a purpose.
But not a suffering.
So that's what I'm saying. That suffering is depending on your mind. A person could be pain is in your mind. Two people can have the same thing happen to them, but one person it's a perspective. Like I said, one guy's in the gym, he's paying for it. The other guy's standing there for an hour, he just can't handle it. So you could do the same thing. Living a more elevated life because of him. Elevating your relationship with the Creator, dealing with people nicer, kinder, looking at this world as a passing place. Not that we're going to be here forever, and I could really looking at it that way. That all that you're going to do based on His memory, then that's elevating Him. You do mitzvot, you're going to do mitzvot more than you did before with extra intention or with extra this because of Him, because you're driven by Him. And that causes Him to be, like I said, alive in you, alive through you. And that's in essence His elevation.
Why women don't say Kaddish?
It's an interesting question. Kaddish is a public, it's said only when there's 10. These things usually are not. All the inyanim of tefillah, women are they're exempt from tefillah they're connected to tefillah in a different way. Men are connected to time in one way, and women are connected to time in a different way. There's mitzvot that women are not obligated. That's not where their soul is meant to fix. Every soul is meant to fix a certain area. The woman, by nature, is a prayer. She's praying naturally. So she doesn't need like a time to stop and pray. Like that's in essence, she's a prayer. That's what she is. Men need the tikkun of going to the knesset, of a minyan. It's a different process that we need to get to our tikkun. It's different. It's not more or less or better. It's just different. So if a woman wants to focus on the mitzvot that are important for her, it's chala, afashat chala. There's 3 mitzvot of a woman, right? It's what chana. Chala, nida, adlakat. Chala is taking the chala when you make dough, right? You're making dough for the chalot, and you set aside, you say chala, and why? Because the chala. Okay, then nida. Nida is the cycle of the period and the mikveh and purifying the blood of the world. and lighting the Shabbat candles. These are the 3 mitzvot that when a woman does that, that's in the place of what she is, she's bringing God light and blessing to all the worlds. The men have their things that the men have to do. And it's very important for everyone to know that their position is important. Right? Not that I want what you have. This week is Parashat Korach. We study about Korach, the jealousy of Korach. A man in a great, great position, but he wanted even a different, he was jealous, he wanted a different position. And the Gemara teaches us that jealousy, when you have jealousy, you lose everything. Because what you want, you're not getting, it's not yours. And what you have, you already decided that you don't want, so you lose it. So you stay with nothing. So it's very important for a person to realize that the Creator doesn't make mistakes. My personality, my time that I'm born is exact. I'm a necessity in the world. I don't have to look at someone else to be like them. I want to figure out who am I and how could I serve Hashem the most. And then you'll be happy with your mitzvot. Do them with joy, do them with style, do them with beauty. Allow the memory of your father to always inspire you, to always feel that, and live a meaningful life. Speak to the Creator more often, speak to Him more real. Tell Him, I don't want to live a superficial life, a fake life, and then what? Like you open up my eyes to see that there's more to life. So it's fantastic. Chaim. No, I'm good. Too early for me. If you start the day with the Baal of Arak, you're going to go far. But it's amazing. When we drink, we say L'chaim. Because when you drink water, you don't say L'chaim. Why? Because if you drink water, 1 cup, 2 cups, 10 cups, I don't care. Nothing's going to happen to you. I don't have to bless you. Like after that cup, you'll be the same thing you were before. But after that cup of Arak, you're going to suddenly have 2 worlds open to you. You could go more this way or more that way. So that's what I'm telling you, my friend, go to the right. Go to life. Go to L'chaim. It's amazing. Drinking can bring a person to all kinds of negative places. Promiscuous and negative and not caring. It's amazing. You're never going to be the same after a shot. Never. They say there was a guy who was an alcoholic. So they told him, why do you drink so much? He says, I don't drink a lot. I don't drink a lot. He says, listen, I wake up in the morning, I have a l'chaim, I feel like a new person. I'm a new man. He says, I have another l'chaim. I only have 1 l'chaim. After every l'chaim, I feel like a new man. That's what it is. It's always be l'chaim. Always choose life. Take the expansiveness of the mind that comes with wine. Take it to understand the secrets of life. The Gemara says that in the house of Avelim, in the house of Shiva, they drink. Wow, for sure. The Gemara says, Lo nivra yain ela lenachem avelim. Wine was only created to comfort mourners. Because you suddenly needed expanded consciousness. You're stuck right now. The Shiva, you're stuck. It was okay. Chaim.
I understood it. That the souls can visit you in dreams. They can keep assisting you.
Also in dreams, it's not always when the worlds today are in a very dark state. So souls can't always visit the dark. It's not always simple for that. It's not like that. When the worlds will be purified after the Geulah, the souls will be traveling in and out of the world, no problem. If a soul comes to a person in a dream, the Gemara says that it's good to see a dead person in a dream, and anything he takes from you is good. Only if he takes your shoes, it's not good. If he takes your shoes, that means you're going with him. That people can come. If you miss them, it's interesting. The Ari Kadosh had a student, Rabbi Chaim Vital, his closest student. They were very, very in love and very connected. And after the Ari passed away, the Ari used to come to him in the dream all the time. Constantly come to him in the dream. And after a while, he stopped coming to him. And a couple of years later, he came to him once in a dream, and then he asked the Rebbe, why don't you come visit me anymore? So he said, since you stopped missing me and stopped thinking about me, I stopped coming to you. So there is that invitation, that draw from the live is also like an invitation. They could come in dreams. Of course they could come in dreams.
Is there a way to invite them to come often?
I would say that as you better your relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu will comfort you. And part of the comfort, if you're needed, then you'll see a dream of that sort. Some people, in order to be comforted, need to see that their father's okay. And after that, they're okay. They're okay. The main thing is that the whole of nechama, of comforting, of getting any comfort comes from emunah. All the comfort comes from. So the more your relationship with your Creator will get better, first of all, your feeling of my Father's in good hands will be there. You'll know that this good relationship, this good Creator, that the more you get to know that He's good, you're just going to trust that your Father's okay, that He's with Him. And the Creator, that knowledge of the Creator is the real source of your comfort. That's going to give you that comfort and that strength and that expansion. And alavai, if you need to see your father in a dream, that's going to come for you. That whatever you need to see, that will come for you. And HaKadosh will come for you. Whatever you need to see.